I may have a burp coming.
Hello and welcome along to another episode of Mildly Informed with me, Richie Firth, and Chris Skinner. Our attempt is to mildly inform you after our weeks. How's yours been, Chris? I've seen you this week.
I love seeing you at IRL, Richie. We saw it. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. I think there's a couple of things I would like to pick up on that. But it always is quite nice to be face to face. We met in a pub. I think we both had a couple of drinks before we saw each other, which always makes for a slightly loose start to the conversation.
I wanted to be in the pub for longer.
Yeah, it would have been nice. When I said to my friends who I was with that you were coming, we immediately decided to one of the group didn't know you and the rest did. And our take was, you've got to act like you know him really, really well. You just got to lean into it. And fair play to Naya. She absolutely owned it like you were her best friend in the entire world. And credit to you, you played along like you did. It was wonderful.
Here's why. Because to begin with, for a couple of seconds, I was thinking, oh my God, this is really weird. I don't know who this is. And I'm absolutely certain I don't know who this is. But they're behaving like they really, really know me. And I should be delighted to see them. And then, because of the other two people that were in the room and you being the ringmaster, it clicked. And in my head, I'm thinking, I know exactly what's going on here. And I leant into it. And it was a wonderful start to the evening.
It was lovely. Well, it was nice seeing you in person. We've got some afters to pick up on this at various points in the programme today. I just wanted to mention one thing. I have the birthday present that I promised I would get you in the last episode.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
It will be coming to you tomorrow.
This must be the Lorette de Mar sauce.
Yes, that's right. A chili crisp dip. And someone messaged me this week saying, I went through the same phase as you and it had nearly life-ending consequences. I became so addicted to it. So I'm not quite. It's basically like I'm saying to Rich, do you want this addiction? Here it is. So
it depends how their life nearly ended. They may have wanted a new jar and were buying it from a Chinese supermarket, but that closed at 8:00 and the time was 7:58, and they ran across the road really quickly to get to the supermarket and didn't see a bus coming. You just don't know.
No, that is a fair point. My guess is they were talking about the calorific impact of spooning back jars of chili oil.
Oh, well, I look forward to receiving that in the next 24 hours. And I know we're going to talk a little bit in this particular episode about the last 48 hours when we've seen each other and stuff that's gone on, because I'm assuming that's what's been on your mind.
Constantly on my mind. The only things that are ever really on my mind, Rich, are talking about the times that we hung out and directing our audience towards Patreon where they can help fund this thing. They're the only two things I ever think about.
And I'm sure they're going to head there very, very soon. And if they want to see a visualized version of this, they can head to our YouTube channel or, of course, on TikTok, where tasty morsels and little bits of information are imparted.
Wow, what housekeeping we have done. Rich, I would love to know what's been going on with you this week.
Chris, I've revolutionized hanging out the washing.
What?
Honestly,
this is nonsense.
I've made a life-changing change to the way I hang out the washing, and I am evangelical about it, and I cannot wait to share it with you and all of our friends.
Okay. I've got a lot of questions and I hope you can tick these off. I would love to hear about the nature, whether this is an indoor or an outdoor, the nature of the line, whether this is revolutionary to you or this is globally revolutionary. And I would like to understand the metrics for which you judge this to be a success.
We're talking about outdoor airing. Hanging washing outdoors. And I know that is a privilege for some, and it's not something that is available for everybody. And so I'm grateful every day that I can hang washing outside.
So humble, outdoor washing line.
Chris, it's a rotary one as well. It's one of those ones that you can sheath at the end of the day.
Well, that is an excellent choice of words. And I was wondering whether it would be a straight up and downer or... the rotary is a beautiful piece of engineering, I think, anyway.
It is. But when we refer to sheathing at the end of the day, That is where people are making their mistake. Chris, here's what I've started doing. I have started hanging the washing out at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, hang on. You're just letting it get damp overnight.
No, that is the misgiving about this whole thing. That's not what's going on, all right? Let me give you some facts, and these are facts. Today, as we record, is the 16th of May, and the sun rose at 5:26 this morning. That means from 5:26, the sun is there to dry your washing. Now, if you live the average routine and maybe you are up and about and maybe downstairs and in a position to hang out the washing from around about 7:30, for example, that's aside from the fact that you may have kids to drop off to school or a work meeting to get to and you can't, you're looking at possibly around and about 2.5 hours of wasted washing time. But if you hang that washing up at 10 o'clock in the evening, and obviously as a given, you've got to trust a weather forecast that it's not going to rain overnight, come 5:26, when the rest of the world is slumbering and their washing isn't on the line, yours is actually drying. And here's the real rub. What you could be in a position is come 8 o'clock in the morning where Joe next door is hanging out his washing. You might be in a position to actually come and take yours in because it's dried from when the sun rose in the morning.
I love the idea, and that sounds like an incredible solution if you live in Spain. But I put it to you, Rich, that at 5 o'clock this morning when the sun rose, it was in central London still about 8 degrees Celsius. And I can't see anything getting dry between 5:30 and 8 at 8 degrees Celsius. Second point, and I would like you to tell me how much the stuff that you hang out smells of fox piss.
Okay. First point, I have this week in the UK taken washing in at 8:30 in the morning that was dry.
Wow.
And second point, none of it smelt of fox piss.
Okay.
Thirdly, I'm going to counterpoint something that hasn't even been put to me yet. Some people will be... I don't understand why that's funny.
Do you want to feed me the line that I will use that you can then counterpoint?
You're probably going to say to me, but Rich, what about the dew and condensation?
But Rich, what about the dew and condensation?
Nature's fabric softener, Christopher. Nature's fabric softener.
I simply am not educated enough in the space of overnight washing to disagree with you, Rich. I feel like there's a bit of a smell of the fields about this, but
what do fabric softeners smell of? On the picture, they smell of fields. You're naturally doing it without even putting further chemicals into your washing. You're using the gift that comes up every day, the sunshine. You're literally doing one extra wash a day that you can't do if you don't hang it out at 10 o'clock at night. Honestly, it's game-changing. It's environmentally friendly because you're not using airers and tumble dryers and all such like. Chris, this could change the world.
I mean, putting aside the fact that I believe the smell of fields is bullshit, I just simply can't disagree with you. I feel like you're not right, but I don't have any obvious counterpoints to you, so I'm going to let you have it.
Thank you very much. This, I do believe, is one of the best things that we've imparted so far in the early infancy of Mildly Informed. All right? Because I think I have informed our listeners. Share it with the world. Tell everybody. At least give it a try. Don't be judgmental. You've got to have a look at the weather forecast and check. But give it a try and come back. You know how to get in touch with us. You can make your comments in the comments.
Okay, so what, Richie, is your review?
5 stars.
But be specific. What are you giving 5 stars?
I am giving 5 stars to hanging your washing out at 10 at night.
Right, okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. I don't feel qualified to give it a star ranking, so we're just going to have your review.
Next week you will. Chris, what's been on your mind this week? Because I've been wondering.
Well, Richie, you and I obviously live a showbiz life. We are undeniably part of the UK's elite celebrity scene. I think whenever someone meets you and me, they immediately think glitz, glamour, showbiz, parties, celebrities. I mean, that is without doubt what we ooze. Is that not right?
I think that's correct. When people see you and I, they look at the two of us and think, oh my God, look, it's Will Ferrell and Hugh Jackman.
That's actually, we look like a really bad AI photocopy of those two guys.
Yes, we do.
We look like them at their worst.
They don't know, but at some point in their life, they're going to look much more like us than they think they do now.
Oh, Will, you're such a handsome guy. You just look a bit like a fucked Chris Skinner now. Or is it the other way around? I can't quite work it out.
No, I am Hugh Jackman.
Yes. Okay, Hugh. So congratulations on the latest Wolverine movie, by the way. Do people say that to you?
They do. Too much gets tiring, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I guess the glitz and glamour lifestyle that you and I lead, you must be referring to the Audio and Radio Industry Awards ceremony that we were both at this week.
We both have day jobs in the audio industry as well as doing this bullshit on the side. And we were both in attendance of this spectacular awards ceremony in London's Leicester Square. And so I would like to talk to you about awards ceremonies more generally. I think, first of all, let's own this situation. I cannot deny that some of what we're going to say now is going to feel like sour grapes, because I believe your show was in the second category of the evening.
The show that I work on, Bush and Richie on Absolute Radio, was in the first category.
It was the very first one. Okay, we barely sat down.
The very first award of the evening. And for full disclosure, we didn't win it. We didn't even come placed.
No. And then just 5 categories later, a show that I work on, Where There's a Will, There's a Wake, was also up for an award. And we got diddly squat as well. No gold. And the worst thing about that is when they read out bronze, they read out silver, and you're like, oh man, the stakes are high now. It's like, it's everything or nothing.
And the thing about awards ceremony is once you've done bronze and silver and you think, we haven't been mentioned yet, obviously your brain thinks, this could be the moment. Yeah. But there's always a slight little tease when your host will then go, and the gold, the judges said that this, and then the next few words are either kind of like crushing or kind of like, it's like the unzipping of a little bit of cleavage, and it's thinking, yeah, it's about to happen. And then no, the zip goes back up.
I have to say, I dragged my despondent team to the bar before the winner of my category had even made it to the stage to give his speech. And
that's where you were in a better position than I was, because I was sat next door to my boss, and there was no way that I was able to leave until the final award had been given out. And I was so jealous as I saw you lead the rest of your team out, and I'm thinking, bastard.
Look, I'm not saying I'm a better boss than your boss, but evidence from that one incident means, hey guys, come work with Chris.
In the second half of the awards ceremony, you're messaging me from Chinatown going, we're having dinner in a restaurant. Where are you? And I'm like, I'm still here. They're still handing them out, mate.
I couldn't believe it. We'd finished our meal and you were like, there's still 2 awards to go.
I had to wait till Radio 3 had picked up Radio Station of the Year.
Thoroughly deserved as well. An excellent network that has really changed path in the last couple of years. I would like to congratulate them on all they've done.
Okay.
That's it. I just don't want to come across too negative about this. But okay, so that's our experience. So we both didn't have great experiences at that awards because we didn't win. I just want to share some general thoughts about awards ceremonies. Look, whatever line of work you're in, if you're an engineer, if you are an academic, if you are a a builder, there is an industry awards for you, and it follows the same type of things. They get sponsored by certain categories, by certain businesses in your industry. It's a chance to meet up with your friends, rivals, enemies, all that kind of stuff. So I think what we're talking about here is relatable across industries, although you're less likely, as I did, to accidentally walk in on Rory Stewart on a Zoom call, or a colleague of mine started chatting away to Chesney Hawkes because he thought he was a guy I used to work with in sales. But anyway, awards themselves, I think, are something we need to look at because they're billed as a really good thing. Ultimately, I don't know how many nominees there were in your category, 7 or 8. There was 7 or 8 in my category as well, which means 87.5% of people in that category are unhappy at the end of it. So an award ceremony, unless you win one of multiple things you're entered for, which is unlikely, most people leave an awards ceremony unhappy. It's one of the only nights out I think you go on where you're almost certainly going to leave in a less good place than when you arrived. And that's weird for a social gathering and occasion. Award ceremonies are long, even like when they just try to cut them down. Not all of them are relevant to you. And I think they did the awards we did this week in just over 2 hours. They ran through it as quickly as I think they possibly felt that they could. I've done ones that have been an hour plus longer than that. It's still a long time to find out who won branded, feature of the year.
That's the other part of it. It all depends on the form of your awards ceremony. If it is done and it's like a gala dinner, no matter whether it is for car park of the year or builder of the year or radio show of the year, if it is done sat around a table, at least you're getting a nice spread.
Yeah.
At least you're getting a nice dinner, some nice food and all that kind of stuff. If you are sat in an auditorium, there is very little else going for the evening other than your personal investment for the award that you are nominated for. Now, I do maintain that most people, if we're all honest, none of us are nice people. So once your award has gone, you don't care about the rest. And if you're in an auditorium and you're not enjoying a meal with it, once your award has gone, most people, like yourselves, get up and go. So it means that by the time you get to the final awards, there's barely anyone left to see the award that you've won, and you're celebrating to an empty room.
I'll tell you who gets it right, mostly gets it right. The Mercury Music Prize. As I understand, and it might have changed in recent years, there's only one prize. There is the Mercury Music Prize, yeah? And there are about 10 nominees. So essentially, everyone turns up, all 10 nominees, either they have a meal, they'll play a song, or they'll do a little interview. They'll have a little moment that celebrates all 10 nominees. And then one of them gets an extra special thing where they actually get the prize at the end. So even though still most people come away disappointed, they haven't had to sit through, a bunch of stuff that's not relevant to them. And it's done as like a bit of a more of a party vibe. We need a legal cap, Richie. Here's what I'm saying.
Go on.
No award ceremony should have more than 10 categories.
Fine.
That's it. That's my only law. I haven't got any more.
I think, and you mentioned the word party, I think award ceremonies could learn a lot from children's birthday parties, because when you go to a children's birthday party, every single child will go away with a party bag. Every single child is going to go away with exactly the same thing. All attendees go away happy. Even the parents that go to said awards are mopping up the odd jam sandwich or a slice of cake or some ice gems that haven't been eaten before the dancing continues. So everyone goes away fed and happy. Now, obviously, there's one person at said child's birthday party whose birthday it is, and they go away with the most. That's fine. That's how it's got to happen. And that's how it can be with an awards ceremony. A couple of people go away with the most, but everyone goes away with something. Everyone goes away happy. So I would enter in on your legislation of 10 awards maximum, but everyone goes away with something. Everybody goes away.
This is definitely the conversation between two people who won absolutely nothing this week. And With that in mind, I would like to pose 2 reviews. I would like to review winning an award,
Yeah.
and I give winning an award 4 stars.
Okay. Not
I would
5.
like
Right.
to pose going to an awards ceremony. It's all right. Like ultimately in life, I always do start to question, should I have spent that time at home with my family instead? So that's why it's 4, not 5. Being nominated for an award and winning absolutely nothing, I give 2 stars.
Being nominated for an award and winning absolutely nothing, I give 2 stars because the responsible person in me kind of thinks it's good to be in the discussion. But that's the only way that it's got a 2nd star.
I also like seeing people. Like if it wasn't for the awards, I saw a bunch of people who I really like, and I saw you, and I thought that was like a positive thing. Like it was a nice coming together of people.
Yes, that's true. But overall, I'd sack them off. Oh, dear.
Should we have a quick break and then come back with some more?
Why not? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Chris. Can I ask you a question? Do you wash at work?
I don't. That's a really strange question. Yes, I do, Rich. I wash every time I've been to the toilet. I wash before I eat my lunch. And because I cycle in, if I have to cycle quickly or it's the summer, I will often go as far as even showering in work.
You've just hit bullseye, my friend. My workday 9 to 5 job. We've been in it's a building that's new to us now for about a year. But this week, for the first time, I used the workplace washrooms, and that is because I've started doing a few bits of cycling into work. As you've said, it's summer, but also you're getting hot and sweaty when you do it. So you arrive at work and you need to wash. And so the workplace washroom experience is brand new to me. And I'll say, first of all, I think after 1 week, I'm giving it 3 stars because there are some positives, but there's some glaring negatives as well.
Okay, the obvious positive, you come away cleaner. So
yeah,
I don't know if we need to dwell on that because that's probably, if you've got other positives you want to mention.
Well, no, I would accelerate the whole coming away cleaner thing because now actually arriving at work and having a shower and then styling your hair, blow drying it, deodorant, aftershave on and entering the workplace floor, I'd do that after a commute now because I felt so fresh for my working day.
No,
so there's a lot to be said for arriving at workplace and making sure that you are at your finest, whether you've cycled or not.
Do you have a towel service at work?
Yes.
Or do you have to bring your own? Yeah, towel service is amazing.
Towel service is incredible. And on my first day, naively, I took in a towel. That made the bag even heavier. So I've kind of like got the art refined as the week has gone on. So it's been a more positive experience. But then, of course, there are the negatives. And the negatives are seeing colleagues in the workplace washrooms.
When you say seeing colleagues, can you be more specific?
Nudity, Christopher. How do you sit in a brainstorm? How do you sit in a meeting when you've seen a colleague's pale ass?
I'm fine with it.
That says more about you than it does about me.
I'm like, it's just human stuff that we have to do and get on with.
No, it's not. See, like human stuff that we have to do. We can see our partners naked. Maybe once upon a time we can remember seeing like our brothers naked, but that's because like we were once upon a time 3 and 5 and had to share a bath together or whatever. But you don't have to see your work colleagues. No, yeah, you don't have to see them naked. They're going to be sat in a presentation making a really important point. They might have to be disciplining you at some point, and you're just thinking your ass is really white.
I mean, I you know what? I'm thinking about it. I do have some sympathy for this. It's not exactly the same, but I used to go to a gym next to a place where I used to work, and there'll be other colleagues there. And I remember accidentally being stuck eyeball to eyeball to the grunting, gurning, sweating face of a commissioner doing bench presses or one of the exercise gym, and we were eyeball to eyeball, and he's like in a vest top going, ooh, 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 and I was like, oh, that's too intimate. That is a bit much, actually. So I'm actually starting to come round to your idea now.
Which is why it's 3 stars, Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling fresh. Yeah. Great. Laundered towels. Fantastic. But the negatives that you do then have to see, I'm not sure are worth it.
Yeah, I get it. Is there any way that you can fix this? There's no extra cubicles? I guess, could you put signs up saying please?
I think cubicled workplace. I think cubicle washrooms are just horrendous anyway. That's kind of like going to the local swimming baths kind of thing,
right?
Like Verucas and stuff like that. I like an open plan one, but generally, if I'm going to see someone naked in a gym, I'd rather not know who they are.
Right. So anonymous nudity is fine.
Anonymous nudity, I embrace. But knowledgeable nudity is, no, I don't think it's good.
Okay.
3 stars for the workplace washroom.
I think that's fair enough. I agree. I'm actually don't have that problem at my workplace at the moment. I actually have a really crap shower at mine. So for different reasons, it is burning hot, then freezing cold, about 30 seconds apart constantly. So for that reason, I give it 3 stars. I don't have to get my junk out in front of people, though.
Fair enough.
I feel for you, Rich.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's move on from the emotional and physical scar. Well, actually, not physical scar. I've not been scarred in a washroom, but let's move on from it. Because, Chris, I'm looking deep into your eyes and I can see that there's been something else that's been on your mind this week. And, Chris, I need to know, what are you thinking about?
Thanks for asking, Richie. I've been doing something this week and I'd like to get your opinions on it because I think it's not a clear-cut, guaranteed win, but it is quite interesting for me. Context. When I have this sentence, some people are going to hear what I say and they go, that's not early. You and I don't know what time you used to have to get up when we worked together back in the day. I used to get up at 4 a.m. for work. And I think you were probably similar sort of time. So we know getting up early.
Correct.
So my thing I would like to discuss with you is getting up early, but getting up early from a person who lives a job where I start at 10 a.m. and have to drop my kids off at 9 a.m. perspective. I want to talk about getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I want to say, I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks. You earlier on referred about, 5:30, the sun is coming up and it's an ability for you to go out or the previous night, put the washing on the line. I'm getting up at 6 anyway at the moment. I'm seeing that sunrise. First thing I'm doing, I'm going downstairs. I'm opening the back door. I'm standing in the backyard, breathing in that morning air. I could hang the washing up if I wanted. And it feels fantastic. It feels absolutely brilliant. However, both of the last 2 weeks when I've done it, I get to Friday and I can't wake up because I'm exhausted. How do you feel about getting up early, Rich?
I think you're going to be surprised, Chris. I've been getting up at 5:30 for a little while now because I love going downstairs. I love emptying the dishwasher. I love having a coffee. I know you don't like coffee, but then I'll be sat there in the kitchen on my own, 6:10, having a coffee. And I've got 50 minutes of silence to myself before other alarm clocks are going on upstairs. And my wife and my son have to wake up and the day gets started. And that 50 minutes I cherish. I absolutely cherish because I can get my head around what needs to be going on that day. What am I worried about? What have I got to do straight away to move off the agenda? What am I looking forward to? What's going to be the pinch points? What do I need to make sure, right, you need to be doing that. That part of the day, getting up early is fantastic and I love it.
I have to say, being the only one up as well is actually a really important point in that. I'm not sure I'd be endorsing this if the whole family was up.
No, this is the thing. Is that It's not just another part of it. If we're honest, it's the part of it. I'm getting up early to have some time to myself because if other people are around, it's just a nightmare.
Can I share some quotes with you? I did a bit of homework on this. Let's see if you agree with some of these. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Let's break this down. Makes him healthy. Depends what time you're going to bed because sleep is important. So that's on the back burner. Wealthy. I think you could say that is the case because you're up there and making sure that you're being efficient in your working day. And wise, well, yeah, definitely. If you use the time properly, because you're thinking, right, what is going on? What do I care about? What do I not need to do today? So healthy, wealthy, and wise, I reckon they've only added healthy in to make it like rhyme and lag it out. I think it's just about being wealthy and wise.
Okay, fine. Well, Benjamin Franklin was good enough to get his face on American Money, so he's clearly talking some good stuff.
Is he the person who came up with that?
That was Benjamin Franklin. This one is by someone called Richard Whately. I don't know who they are.
May I just improve on Franklin's work?
Okay, please.
He just needed to spend a little bit more time to flesh out the rhyme. And I think it could go like this. Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man feel wealthy and wise. You don't need to put the healthy in, just put another word in.
What about if you get up earlier and you do press-ups? Because you're up early.
Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man knackered, wealthy and wise.
Okay.
What other quotes?
Maybe that's what he said in his deathbed.
Could be.
Let me give you this Richard Whately quote. Lose an hour in the morning. No, that's Richard Whately.
Who's Richard Whately?
He did Count Early.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, that's all I've got. Gets go. Lose an hour in the morning and you'll spend all day looking for it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like it. Yeah. I like it.
I have no problems with that one.
Okay, I'll give you one more. The early morning has gold in its mouth.
Shit. That's the kind of quote. That's the kind of quote that people go, "Oh, wow, yeah." But when you break it down, that means absolutely nothing. That's bollocks. Who said that one?
That was also Benjamin Franklin.
Oh. whip his face off those American notes. Bad quota.
You're not into poetry that sort of speaks in the abstract.
I'm not into abstract. I like poetry, but I'm more like limericks. There once was a lady from Nantucket kind of thing.
There once was a duck from Doncaster whose left leg was covered in plaster. Its other leg was held up by a peg. Yes, it's true that duck was a disaster.
that kind of thing's my kind of poem.
Yeah, okay. Good. I'd welcome if anyone has any limericks about Rich and I. Please do share.
Chris, look, you brought to the table getting up early. Yep. How are you going to rate it?
4 stars.
5 stars.
Okay. For me, it's not perfect because I'm tired at the end of the week. It's not perfect. But in the summer, and it's not a solution in the winter as well. Absolutely screw that. But in the summer, to see more of the sunshine is a wonderful experience.
I'll happily retract to 4 stars because you raised the spectre of winter.
I'm sorry for doing that. Rich, before we go over to the Patreon and we talk about one more thing, I think we've got time for one more thing in the main show today. Why don't you unload on us? What's going on?
I think it was the Gregorians who gave us the calendar that we live in right now and 12 months a year.
The Gregorians, plural. There was a group of people called the Gregorians.
Yeah.
Carry on. Was
there only one Gregory then?
I believe it was it not like Pope Gregory? And
was
like
it really? I thought the Gregorian was like a period of time.
Like the Jurassic?
Yeah.
I'm Googling it now.
There's never been a Pope called Gregory.
In the world, introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582 to correct a slight inaccuracy in the Julian calendar.
Wow. And was that another pope?
Julian, I think, was also a pope. Yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, Pope Gregory, cheers for your calendar. But I'm sure you would agree that all of the 12 months, out of all of them, I truly believe that May is your top tier month.
Yeah, it is. It's the best month. I completely agree. I can't believe we're agreeing way too much here. It's the best month. Tell me why you think it's the best month.
May is the best month because spring has been around for a little bit of time. We're not yet into the height of summer. And truth be told, certainly if you're a Brit, Americans who listen to this podcast might differ. And I'd love to be educated on how they feel. But when you think about being a Brit, during the winter, you are just yearning for spring and better times. You know, oh, when's it spring? Oh, when's it spring? I'm fed up with this weather. And then spring finally arrives and you'll have like a false dawn. You'll have a few nice days and then it'll go cold again. You're like, oh, I thought this was spring. But then generally, once you get to May, spring is definitely here. And you've got pleasant temperatures like you have this week, you know, very late teens, early 20s. You've got the sun getting up at 5:26 in the morning so that you can hang the washing out, so that you can get up early and embrace and be healthy and wealthy and wise, like Benjamin Franklin said. You've also got some later evenings. You can do barbecues and stuff like that. When it gets into the height of summer, ironically, the days start to close in a little bit. It's a lot warmer, so you do still stay out barbecuing, but the sun's starting to close in again. Cricket matches are starting to put on floodlights, dews starting to come on the grass and all that kind of stuff. And the heat during the height of the day now has become too hot. And your Brit is going, I know we shouldn't complain because we do moan during the winter and all that kind of stuff, but it's too hot. It's too hot. And we're complaining about stuff. May is the sweet spot. The temperature is perfect. You've got the light. I love May. It's a month that's got 3 bank holidays in it. So you've got shorter weeks. Selfishly, for you and myself, it's also our birthday month. And we're both quite lucky for that. That's just sort of like a glacier cherry on top. But that is why I fervently believe that May is a top tier month.
I agree altogether. And if I can add, just to build on that, May has like a lot of the good stuff you associate with summer happening for the first time. So you get the first genuinely proper hot day of the year. That's a surprise. It's not like, you know, by July where they're the norm. So when you wake up and it is a lovely day, you're like, oh, yeah, this is great. Oh, you know, you've got a genuine euphoria about it. Oh, it's good. It's really bright still and it's 8:30. It's like, whoa. It is the first month of the year it's acceptable to drink cider. And these are all good things. And so I'm wholeheartedly pro May. I think 12 months a year of May weather would be the best existence.
Now, you see, here's the thing, right? And it's a little bit like house hunting. You've got to go and see crap houses to realise that the house that you're going to spend a lot of money on is the house that you want. And 3 months ago, we were in the worst month of the 12, and that's February. But that was only 3 months ago. You need your February to be able to embrace May. May is the best month. You may disagree. Leave in the comments. Share if you're watching this as a TikTok. Let's debate it. But May is definitely right up the top.
I would love to do top 12 months in order of how good they are at some point with you. Maybe we can have a think about that.
At some point we will. Let's start the rubrics. 12, top month, May. Bottom month, February. In between, it's all up for discussion.
Yep. Love it. Right. Should we get over onto the Patreon, Rich?
Let's jump there right now. I've enjoyed this, Chris. For those people who choose not to pay for the extra information that we mildly inform you, this will be the end of the podcast. We'll pop back in a minute and say a proper goodbye, but we're about to go over and share some love with the people that we really like.
I'm not coming back for a goodbye.
Okay, well, we'll say goodbye to them all now.
I'm out. Thanks and everything.
Rate, like, and subscribe, and we'll be back next week. I'll have tasted the Lorette de Mar sauce, and we might talk more about some months of the year.